Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19. We have a very, very interesting article in Forbes for you. Temecca Council. I'm going to go with Temecca, okay? I know some might pronounce it Tamika. I don't know how she does, but she has claimed that the WNBA's growth, what really matters, is all about the influencer economy. Of course, starring the likes of Angel Reese, The Face, Asia Wilson, Dejanay Carrington, etc. Likes and follows lead the way. Spoiler alert, no. No. There are no stats, there's no substance. This is just all vibes in a very bad way, as we'll get into, because we've got the numbers. So as you can see here, Temecca Council dropped this Forbes piece. It is embarrassing that Forbes has this, titled, brace yourself, How Angel Reese and Asia Wilson Lead the WNBA's Growth. Yep, that's what it says. I did a double take too. From the jump, folks, it's all about Insta, likes, follows, social media engagement. That's what's driving the WNBA's future. It doesn't matter if that doesn't translate into money. Who needs money for a professional basketball league to survive? It just needs to survive on heart emojis. Forget ticket sales and TV ratings. It is like saying grandma's TikTok videos, her knitting TikTok videos. That's what's going to save the NBA, folks. Yeah, that's cute, sure. Not how sports work at all. Council argues players like Reese are paving an alternative growth trajectory with viral content. Yeah, it sounds cool, right? Some buzzwords in there, except, of course, zero evidence, zero proof tying social media clout, actual fans watching games, to actual fans buying tickets and putting butts in seats, to actual fans watching and turning the game on TV. So let's break it down a little bit into this nonsense. The fact that Forbes, a supposed business magazine, published this stuff is absolutely embarrassing. This is a handout job to someone who clearly isn't qualified to write about anything business related, because they have zero grasp of business fundamentals or basic economic principles. Downright embarrassing, Ford. But let's take a look and see what we've got going on here. So she digs right in the beginning. Paige Becker's joining Caitlin Clark. Talked about the viewers for the WNBA draft last year and goes right in with more than 5 million Instagram followers between them. Becker's 2.2 million and Clark 3.1 million. They're among the biggest brands in a new era of visibility in women's basketball. There's just one player whose social media following surpasses them both. Angel Reese with her 4.8 million Instagram followers, another 5.5 million on TikTok. Yeah, absolutely wild. So look, if these numbers meant anything, let's let me back up. How about unraveled? I'm sorry, unrivaled. Average viewership, a measly 218,000, about 4% of Reese's followers. Of course, most games I think were under 200,000. A lot of Angel Reese's games were at the 140,000, 150,000, 160. I think there was one at like 110,000. And hold up, don't forget too that Caitlin Clark's teammate Lexi Hull was also on that team with Angel Reese. And I'm telling you, obviously not a whole lot, but there were definitely Clark fans who were sneaking a peek to support the very popular Lexi Hull. Now, Caitlin Clark and her 3.1 million followers. Let's see here. Caitlin Clark is undoubtedly part of the reason, folks, part of the reason why the WNBA broke multiple viewership and attendance records during the 2024 season. The Rookie of the Year played in both games that became the most watched WNBA matches ever aired on ABC. Helped the Indiana Fever set a new single season home attendance record of 340,715 fans. Also set a new single season record in assists and was among the league's top 10 scorers. Okay, part of the reason. So I think she was involved in what, over 20 some games that did over a million. Average viewership for Caitlin Clark, 1.18 million. Average viewership for non-Caitlin Clark games, 394,000. That attendance record, the Fever set a home and away attendance record as well, and did that in just 26 games for a 40-game season. So I don't think anyone except maybe the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark are topping that number anytime soon. So yeah, but she's part of the reason. Absolutely wild. By the way, if you were going to go by her Insta, of which she barely even posts, from what I see of it, her feed's quieter than a library on a Sunday morning. What she did that 1.18 million viewers, that's about 36% of her followers if you're going to do it. Whereas for Angel Reese and Unrivaled, about 4%. If this influencer economy was real, Reese would be crushing Caitlin Clark in both attendance and TV viewers. But as we know, that is not happening. These numbers don't lie. This article absolutely is. I mean, this is absolutely wild. I can get more views than Unrivaled did with a picture of my dog. Clark's Fever games were pulling 5, 6 times that without her even doing anything on Instagram. Townsell's own example crashes and burns. Right? If Reese's followers aren't tuning into the basketball, what's the point? Because look, as she seems to kind of do in this article and make it more about the players and their brand building, well, that's great, but it has nothing to do with basketball and it has nothing to do with WNBA growth. Yeah, she's got her podcast unapologetically Angel and other endorsements, but that is not growing the WNBA. I hear this from business people all the time that I talk to. It's like the WNBA needs fans, okay? They don't need likes, they don't need social media followers. It's like opening a bakery, and this is what I mean about businesses because they complain about this. Like opening a bakery and you're bragging about your Pinterest board, but nobody's actually stepping foot in your bakery and buying the cupcakes. Now, there are ways to use social media for reasons like that and building a business, but likes and followers don't pay the bills. It's got to translate. The problem is for Reese, for Asia Wilson, the followers aren't translating into viewers. A lot of Reese's followers are not followers because of her basketball. They're not basketball fans who tune in to watch Angel Reese play basketball. They're not spending money on tickets to go to games. They're there for her celebrity influencer status. She's more of a social media influencer than she is basketball player. If just 20% of her um, Insta followers or TikTok followers. That's what I was looking. You're talking about she's doing Caitlin Clark numbers for viewership in the WNBA, and we certainly know that's not happening. Not that she hasn't been in some of the bigger games, but it's just not translating, and it's absurd to have this conversation that we're having. Check this out. This is wild. Listen to this. While ticket sales, viewership, and media rights deals are the metrics most often cited in the debate over the value of women's basketball as an enterprise, players like Reese point the way toward an alternative growth trajectory. There it is, right? What I said earlier. One driven by viral content and audience engagement. This is the most bizarre batch crazy crap I've ever heard. That is, the ticket sales, viewership, and media rights aren't the metrics debating over the value of women's basketball. Those are the metrics that you use for all professional sports because that is what brings in the money that allows the league to continue. It doesn't get any simpler than that, and she simply can't understand it. There's no alternative growth trajectory. Viral content and audience engagement simply do not fund the WNBA. They do not fund any league. It is not money. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's not money. That is one of the most bizarre things I have ever read ever. It is absolutely wild. All this is is Temecca has a serious issue with Caitlin Clark being so good and so popular and so not tan. This is what it's about. It's not as much about Reese or Wilson or Carrington or anyone else. It's more about Caitlin Clark isn't making a difference. We are going to downplay and minimize Caitlin Clark. Forget her 62 WNBA records as a rookie. Forget the packed and sold out arenas. Forget the almost 1.2 million viewers per game average when the league hadn't seen a single million viewer game since 2008. And Townsend's like, nah, it's the influencers. That's the future. That's the metric that matters because you know what? The influencers are the ones that have a tan, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about the players with the tan. It's all about being another tired attempt to dim Clark's shine, and I am not going to have it. The WNBA cannot survive on viral TikToks. It cannot survive on social media engagement. It can't survive on followers. Likes don't pay the bills. You want a new CBA with more money? You're not going to get it with likes. You're not going into the CBA negotiations and be like, "Hey, look at Angel's followers. Look at the likes on that post by Asia Wilson." Ask any small business with a decent following on social media, and they'll tell you the 10K. Where did I see that? Ask any business with 10,000 followers on Facebook, and they'll tell you, yeah, they're not. They don't pay the bills. Sorry, they simply do not pay the bills. And let's look at the end of this article, shall we? Just to give you an idea of where her mindset is. Black women, see, that's what it's about. She wanted to find a way to write this article about skin color. They emerged as some of the most popular figures within the unrivaled content universe. Ever hear a professional sports organization be referred to as a content universe before? Neither have I. Through home away from home tours sponsored by Wayfair, viral post-game celebration video shorts, and Angel Reese and Dejanay the Mustard Carrington's pregame makeup tutorial sponsored by Sephora, Black women ballers bridged on-court excitement with off-court charisma, proving that black girl magic is still good for business. Wow, that's a mouthful, right? There you go. That I mean, do I really need to get into all of that to tell you where her mindset is? This is all about Caitlin Clark not having a tan. That's what it's about for her. And this is such a bizarre way to spin all of that. By the way, Black Girl Magic being said by Samuel L. Jackson in the Marvels, that helped put a nail in the coffin of the Marvel universe. It was so ridiculously absurd. But again, I don't know that they bridged the on-court excitement because the ratings for Unrivaled were, well, unrivaled, abysmally speaking. But I'm going to leave it there. I mean, this is ridiculous that Forbes actually published this. It used to be a respected financial business magazine. Clearly, it is not one of those anymore, and it is all about political and cultural agendas. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate all your support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.